Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Astrology News Report, an alternate view of world events as seen through the lens of Vedic astrology, presented by yours truly, Ron Berger. Today is November 27th, 2022. In this report, we'll take a look at what's coming up in the zodiac for December 2022. But before we begin, an important announcement. The weekly videos on this channel are available to people who donate to the channel. You are watching the once-a-month free public video. If you would like to have access to the upcoming month's weekly reports, stick around for the link at the end of this video to make your donation. Thanks. Mars is still in its retrograde phase all through December. Mars began its apparent backwards motion in the zodiac on October 30th when it was at 1 degree sidereal Gemini. Subsequently, Mars backed into Taurus. Mars won't be done with its retrograde until January 12th. The planet of action and fast results doesn't like being held back from normal progress in the zodiac. A retrograde planet tends to internalize its energy. Here we're talking about the planet of force and aggression. Retrograde Mars builds up frustration, builds up pressure, which can suddenly explode when something sets it off. For the remainder of its retrograde period, Mars continues in sidereal Taurus. Taurus is a sign closely associated with value. In other words, what's it worth? Taurus is materialistic. Of course, as we are now officially in the holiday season, buying stuff is on everyone's mind. The planet of action being held back in the sign of value means that this retrograde Mars situation will have an impact, mostly negative, on retail sales during December. The frustration of retrograde Mars causes tension and anger. Taurus is the sign of the bull. When the bull gets angry, it's bad. Therefore, you have to be careful of this retrograde Mars transit. Rahu, the north node of the moon, one of the eclipse points, is transiting in Aries, along with Uranus. Both of these significators are known as natural malefics because both can cause harm. Uranus is the planet of sudden events. Rahu can cause emergencies. Since they are transiting in Aries, one of the signs ruled by Mars, their energy gets absorbed by Mars. This makes Mars even more volatile and potentially dangerous. In the chart of the USA, Taurus is the 6th house sign. One of the significations of the 6th house in a nation's chart is that it represents the health of the people. In astrology, Mars is the planet of infections. The medical experts are already warning that this winter will be especially bad for flu and a resurgence of COVID. Another signification of the 6th house is that it is the house of work, and therefore the workers of the country. Retrograde Mars is a troublemaker in this sector, now manifesting as the renewed, threatened railroad workers' strike. Retrograde Mars is like a pressure cooker, waiting for something to set it off. The moon's transit is the second's hand of the celestial clock for timing predictions in astrology. Note that on December 7th, there will be a full moon exactly conjunct retrograde Mars at 21 degrees sidereal Taurus. It's a near certainty that there will be significant events on that day. Jupiter's retrograde period ended on November 23rd. Over the coming weeks, Jupiter will slowly get back to normal forward motion, and that's a good thing. The planet of hope and optimism will soon resume normal manifestation. Other significations of Jupiter, such as justice, delayed while Jupiter was retrograde for 4 months, will likewise be moving forward. Jupiter is in its own sign, Pisces. A planet in its own sign is strong, both for what the planet and the sign represents. Jupiter is truth and wisdom. Pisces is highly intuitive, thus intuitive wisdom. Pisces is the sign of faith. Jupiter is the planet of belief. Of course, this energy is available to everyone, including the zealots. For most of December, Venus and Mercury will be transiting in sidereal Sagittarius. In Vedic astrology, Jupiter rules both Pisces and Sagittarius. By transiting in Jupiter's sign, Venus and Mercury have Jupiter as their ruler. Jupiter's strength helps Venus and Mercury to be strong. Simultaneously, Jupiter is absorbing the energy of Venus and Mercury. Thus, Jupiter becomes the dispositor of Venus and Mercury during December. Since all three planets are natural benefics and they are reinforcing each other, this planetary pattern helps to compensate for some of the negative retrograde Mars energy. At the end of December, the planetary pattern in the zodiac undergoes some significant changes. Mercury and Venus will leave Sagittarius and enter sidereal Capricorn. Immediately upon entering Capricorn, Mercury begins a retrograde phase. So, we will enter the new year under the somewhat dubious influence of a backwards planet of communications. Since Venus, the planet of relationship, will be conjunct retrograde Mercury, it too will suffer some damage. And, on top of all this, Venus and Mercury become conjunct Pluto, the significator of destruction and big stuff happening. So, looks like the beginning of 2023 will get off to a rather rocky start. I'll have more to say about this in an upcoming report. Okay, so there's a brief look at planetary patterns for December 2022. And here's a description of what's coming up in this month's videos. December 4th, update and predictions for President Biden's chart. December 11th, USA politics for 2023 and beyond. December 18th, recession in 2023. Is it going to happen? December 25th, Mercury retrograde and Venus with Pluto. You'll not want to miss out on all these great upcoming videos, so if you would like to have access to December's weekly reports, donate $20 by clicking on or touching the donation card you see at the end of this video, which will take you to the donation page. And if $20 for a month is too much for you, you can donate $10. The link to each week's report will be sent to you via your email. Here's the link. Just click or touch the card, which will take you to the donation page. And if the card does not appear or doesn't work, you can find the link in the comment section below. Thank you, and until next week.